The Formula One season arrives in Singapore this weekend, carrying the weight of Max Verstappen's remarkable resurgence and McLaren's worst performance of the year, setting up what could be the most pivotal race of 2025. After enduring their catastrophic weekend in Azerbaijan, McLaren faces mounting questions about whether they can rediscover the dominant form that saw them seal 4 successive 1-2s before the summer break. Meanwhile, Verstappen has dramatically sliced his championship deficit and now stands just 69 points behind leader Oscar Piastri with 7 rounds remaining. The big debate since Verstappen's win in Baku, his second in a row, has been whether the Dutchman is back in with a genuine chance of claiming a 5th successive driver's title. His hopes appeared to be over when McLaren picked up where they left off before the summer break in Zandvoort, as Piastri won to stretch his advantage over third-place Verstappen to 104 points. However, Red Bull's upgrades at the Italian Grand Prix seem to have changed the game, with Verstappen's wins in Monza and Azerbaijan combined with a third place and a DNF for Piastri, cutting the gap to 69 points with 7 rounds left. Verstappen has little margin for error if he's to apply serious pressure to Piastri and his McLaren teammate Lando Norris, who trails the Australian by 25 points. This weekend's race in Singapore promises to be particularly enlightening. Red Bull and Verstappen have historically struggled at Marina Bay. He has never won here and managed only 3 podiums in 8 appearances. Should he extend his winning streak to 3 races, alarm bells will ring loudly at McLaren. On the other side, if McLaren can rediscover the form that brought them 4 straight 1-2s before the break, the focus will quickly return to the intra-team battle between Piastri and Norris, especially if Norris reduces the gap for a 3rd consecutive race. But the question is not only whether McLaren can deliver the fastest car in Singapore, but also whether Piastri and Norris will make the most of it after their error-filled weekend in Baku. Piastri was completely off his game, crashing in qualifying to start 9th, then jumping the race start, and crashing again on the opening lap to end the weekend pointless. Speaking on the F1 Show podcast, Jamie Chadwick reflected on Piastri's exceptionally bad weekend at the Azerbaijan GP. Norris also failed to capitalize with an underwhelming lap after Piastri's crash, leaving him 7th on the grid. Early lapses in concentration and another bungled McLaren pit stop meant he couldn't improve on that position. The Brit has shown resilience before, but Piastri's consistency this season means he hasn't faced much adversity since his spin in the wet at the season opener in Australia. All eyes will be on the 2 4-year-old this weekend. With a 2nd straight race on a street circuit, even the smallest mistakes could prove costly. The only thing that seems capable of delaying McLaren's Constructors Championship is another run-in between their cars and the barriers. They missed their chance to break Red Bull's record for clinching the title with the most races remaining in Baku, but they should at least tie it in Singapore. Mercedes would need to outscore McLaren by 31 points to stay in contention, while Ferrari would need 35, an almost impossible task. Regardless of how they seal it, McLaren chiefs Zak Brown and Andrea Stella will celebrate with gusto. But a strong result will make Sunday night's party far more carefree. Yuki Tsunoda enjoyed his best weekend in a Red Bull in Baku, qualifying and finishing 6th. But time is running out to save his F1 career beyond 2025. Rumours are swirling that Red Bull plans to promote Isaac Hadjar to the senior team and replace the Frenchman at Racing Bulls with British teenager Arvid Lindblad. Hadjar's strong form means only a disastrous end to the season could deny him a seat alongside Verstappen next year. That leaves Tsunoda fighting not for a Red Bull drive, but for any drive. His Baku result was undermined by still being comprehensively outperformed by Verstappen and edged out by Hadjar's teammate Liam Lawson for 5th. If the rumours of Lindblad's F1 promotion are true, then Lawson and Tsunoda appear locked in a straight fight for the other Racing Bulls seat. If Tsunoda misses out, few obvious options remain for him on the 2026 grid. Alpine has yet to confirm Pierre Gasly's teammate for next year, but Flavio Briatore has suggested the choice will come from their existing pool of talent. For Tsunoda to convince Racing Bulls or another team that he deserves a seat, his Baku form must become a foundation, not a one-off highlight. Ferrari, meanwhile, endured another underwhelming weekend that was somewhat masked by McLaren's chaos. They looked competitive in practice, but a horrendous qualifying left Lewis Hamilton 12th and Charles Leclerc 10th. With overtaking so difficult, they finished only 8th and 9th. They still found controversy, though Hamilton ignored a late team order to give back 8th to Leclerc after being let through to attack cars ahead. Hamilton admitted he'd made a mistake and promised to apologize, while Leclerc expressed frustration but shrugged it off, noting it was only for 8th place. Ferrari will aim for unity in Singapore, where a strong qualifying can unlock a big result. Marina Bay poses unique challenges. Intense heat and humidity make it one of the toughest physical tests, while frequent safety cars and limited overtaking often make qualifying decisive. Verstappen's struggles here contrast with his current momentum, making this a fascinating test of whether Red Bull's upgrades have truly transformed their season, or whether Singapore will expose weaknesses. For McLaren, the pressure is immense. They must not only clinch the Constructors' title, but also restore confidence in their drivers after Baku's disaster, which Verstappen is poised to exploit. The 2025 F1 season continues this weekend in Singapore, with every session from October 3-5 promising to answer key questions about championship momentum, team dynamics, and driver futures. The stakes have never been higher. Piastri must prove his championship mettle by rebounding from his first real adversity. Norris has a chance to close the 25-point gap and potentially shift McLaren's narrative. Ferrari must manage Hamilton and Leclerc's fragile partnership while seizing a track that rewards strong qualifying. And Tsunoda fights for his entire F1 future, knowing another strong showing could mean the difference between a 2026 seat and watching from the sideline. Can Verstappen finally conquer Singapore and make this title fight truly compelling? Or will McLaren's dominant machinery reassert itself at the Marina Bay Street circuit, shutting the door on Red Bull's late charge? But Singapore is rarely just another race, it's a pressure cooker. The heat, the walls, the chaos of safety cars, it has a way of exposing every weakness and amplifying every mistake. For Verstappen, this is a chance to silence one of the few tracks that has haunted him. For McLaren, it's about proving that Baku was an exception, not the start of a collapse. One thing is certain. By the time the lights go out and the checkered flag falls in Marina Bay, the championship picture will look very different. Either Verstappen's resurgence becomes undeniable, turning the final stretch into a true title showdown, or McLaren reasserts its dominance, shutting the door on Red Bull once and for all. Singapore isn't just another race on the calendar, it's the turning point.